Welcome to Sun Valley, first of all. Alicia and I know it's been said, we're really humbled and thrilled to have you all here with us tonight, our closest friends and family, and it means a lot to us. You know, Sun Valley, as many of you know, is near and dear to the Cohen family. My dad has been coming here since, Dad, the 30s? Oh, dad joke. But seriously, we've been vacationing here for as long as I can remember. Ski vacations, camping, water rafting, whitewater rafting. And I remember the first time I took Alicia here about 3 years ago, to the day almost. She really fell in love with Sun Valley. And we both were thinking, it was early in the relationship, we thought, hey, if things go right, maybe we'd be one day celebrating our union here. And here we are. And I just want to say, as you look around this gorgeous tent, all the attention to detail, you're all thinking the same thing, that I had nothing to do with this. And you'd be correct. But this little filly to my left, she has worked tirelessly for the better part of the last year, all the while juggling a challenging transition to real estate and kicking ass and taking names. And she continues to amaze and inspire me every day, and I love you. Now, a fun fact I just wanted to mention. Alicia may or may not have booked this fine venue 6 months prior to us getting engaged, which is a little presumptuous. But as the rabbi mentioned, when she gets her heart set on something, gets her mind set on something, you can't knock the hustle. And kind of reminds me of the time that she was on the prowl for a strapping young Jewish lad. And then she settled for me. But all joking aside, where we owe our deepest gratitude is to my new father and mother-in-law, Robert and Ellen Dry, who are they over here? They're over there, yeah, sorry. Who are the producers of this amazing event. Alicia and I feel absolutely blessed, at a loss for words for all your generosity, and we are forever indebted. I personally remember the first time we met. We were at Herringbone in Santa Monica. I was quite nervous. But you really put me at ease. You've welcomed me into your family. I'm excited and thrilled to join the Dry clan. And we've had many wonderful meals together. We had a beautiful engagement party at your house in Annapolis in the fall. And something that was very special to me, the Drys invited me to join them in Coronado in the fall to honor Robert's late brother, Spence Dry, who was the last Navy SEAL to fall in the Vietnam War. And it was really an amazing experience, and I just felt welcomed into the family, and it was very touching to me. So that's it from me. Let's just say a quick l'chaim. Let's get this thing off right. We got the salamanders here. They're going to kick ass. But first, we're going to bring the father of the bride, Robert Dry, up for some words of wisdom. L'chaim.
I guess everybody can hear me okay? So this was spectacular, wasn't it, today? And I think that first off, I'd like to, thank all of you for being a part of today and for being a part of Alicia's and Erica's future. You are all honorary future grandparents and for Daniela and Sadie playmates for their 9 new kids coming up. So we'll hold them to it. And Rabbi Amy, you are just such a dear, and thank you so much for coming here and for counseling Alicia and Eric and for being with them. And for all you've done, and will do, hopefully, in the community, in their community in Los Angeles as we go forward. I did write something down, but I'm limited to 3 or 5 minutes, I think, which is...
If you've met Rob yet, you know that 3 to 5 minutes is not long enough.
Yeah, that might be the case. A little loquacious. I'm a retired American diplomat, and our stock in trade is words. it's better to jaw, jaw, jaw than to war, 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 as Winston Churchill said. But I started this out by saying, family, old family and now new family, and it is absolutely true. Under the Jewish faith, we are now family with the Cohens. And so we shall consider this not only the wedding of Alicia and Eric, but we shall consider it also the first gathering of the Dry, Kerrigan, and Cohen clans. Yeah, let's hear it. That's good. We also want to thank those of you in particular who have come from so far away, and there are many of you. And also, there's just a lot of you all, which is great. And it's a testament to the esteem with which you hold Alicia and Eric. There's no better way to think about any person, I think, than by the number of friends they have and the sincerity of those friendships. And clearly, that's a testament. I think it was. There are many more out there too that know and love Alicia and Eric. But thank you again for all you've done. And I also want to again thank Linda and Lenny for all that they have done. They early welcomed Alicia into their home and into their hearts. And they have done so much to make us feel at home. And they're also very proud of their Sun Valley home, as they should be, and Sun Valley itself, and Blaine County, the bluest of the blue, I hear. I won't go there. And in fact, I'm going to say right now that the politics are off the table tonight. So I also wanted to thank, on a little bit on the lighter side, I wanted to thank Steve Martin. Now, a number of you probably know why. Because father of the bride. I heard it over here. Yes, and in fact, while the ladies today were having their hair coiffed, and makeup made up, and dresses put on, I watched Father of the Bride. Yay! And Diane Keaton, this was in the 1990s, of course, but boy, did I felt like I was in this sort of film all of a sudden. And I particularly loved the scene when the daughter had come back from Italy from 4 months and announced to her father and mother that she was in love and she wanted to get married. And all of a sudden, Steve Martin looked across the table and his daughter was 7 years old and with pigtails. And that's sort of how I tended and tend sometimes to still see Alicia. There are some photos over in those tables over there that show Alicia and Julia when they were quite young. And I often, when I think about them like that. And one day I think that recently Alicia called Ellen, and was complaining about my stubborn nature about something or another. And Ellen reminded Alicia but Dad still thinks of you as a 7-year-old in pigtails. So, and that's absolutely true. Will you hold that for a moment, please? I also wanted to tell a story, and when we came back from Indonesia, which was a wonderful place, and I think I'm not going to tell anybody where they might spend their honeymoon, but when we came back from Indonesia, Alicia was about 5 years old by my accounting, and she went off to the Rock Creek International School, which was a unique school. It was a bilingual school where half the day was spent in French and half the day was spent in English. And come Parents' Day, I asked her French instructor what she thought of Alicia. And she said to me, Alicia is sensationnelle. And I think we all know what that means in English, but it means even more in French. And Vanessa, isn't that right? Yeah. And so, according to the Petit Larousse, anybody know the Petit Larousse? It is anything but petit. It's like a doorstop. It's a very big book with a lot of definitions in it. The word sensational means a lot more in French than it's cognate in English. It means someone who produces an impression of surprise, of interest, and admiration. More familiarly, it means someone who is remarkable and possesses an exceptional value. Alicia's teacher was spot on. So in its own mystical way, after schooling, which we heard about last night, and work in the City of Angels, Alicia met the man of her dreams, Eric, and Eric met the woman of his dreams. It was fated that Eric leave his bachelorhood existence, which we learned all about last night, and offered to marry Alicia. And Eric called me to ask for Alicia's hand. And his offer in that regard, or his query, his request, will ever endear him to Ellen and myself. What class? And it also bespeaks much of the wonderful upbringing of Eric. He promised me that he will forever love and cherish Alicia. When I was courting Ellen several decades ago, I was smitten at first sight. It didn't take me very long at all, and you can see why. I had difficulty ordering my thoughts when around her. I remember reading poems to her. They were better at expressing my thoughts than my own words. As we headed to this wedding, a refrain from those days keeps coming back. Ellen mentioned I might say it to you all, and when I say the words, they will come back to you too. It is the opening of Robert Browning's Rabbi Ben Ezra. I commend these words to Eric and Alicia as they embark on their married life. Grow old along with me. The best is yet to be, the last of life for which the first was made. Our times are in his hand. Who saith, the whole I planned? Youth shows but half. Trust God, see all, nor be afraid. Ellen and I and all the Drys and Kerrigans and friends, thank you all for sharing in this event to memorialize the vows of Alicia and Eric. Eric, we are delighted to welcome you into the family. Alicia, your mother and I love you unconditionally and wish you all the happiness we have had in our marriage and more. And thank you again all for coming here tonight. Please celebrate. And let's charge our glasses and l'chaim. Thank you.
Hello. For anyone that has not met me yet, my name is Julia, and I'm Alicia's little sister.
You're good.
All right.
I've been.
Okay.
I've been.
I've been lucky enough to have Alicia by my side from day one. She has supported me, defended me, and loved me for 25 years, and I couldn't be more grateful. While growing up under her wing was an adventure in itself, it has been a beautiful experience watching Alicia develop into the incredible woman she is today.
All right, there we are.
While we were in grade school, I wanted to be exactly like my sister. I would steal her clothes, watch the same TV shows, sign up for the same activities, and everything younger siblings usually do. Alicia would hate it. Alicia always had been the outgoing sister. Everyone wanted to be her friend. It was like living with a celebrity. When I was in middle school, girls would run up to me asking if I was Alicia Dry's sister. I respond yes, and they would get so excited and rave about me and tell me how beautiful she was. As I enthusiastically agreed, I would always be tempted to say that it runs in the family. But as most of you know, we are not blood related. While it was undeniable that Alicia is gorgeous, as we grew up, I began to look up to her for so much more. She developed an internal drive to be the best version of herself, to challenge herself, to learn from her mistakes, and to strive from nothing short of success. No has never been Alicia's vocabulary. Along with her extreme resilience, this mentality has made her unstoppable in all aspects of her life. Alicia, you have always been and always will be my biggest role model.
All right. I'm sorry. I have a lot of stuff in my hands.
I think I need this.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
All right, can you open this up a little bit?
Yeah, open it up. Okay. Before Alicia met Eric, I had always tried to figure out what kind of man she would end up with. It was hard to imagine that there was someone out there who would keep up with such a powerhouse. Then I met Eric.
All right.
I had heard about Eric a lot before actually having the chance to meet him. When I finally did, whoa. Whoa. Okay. When I finally did, it was not hard to see that they were truly the perfect match. I remember the exact moment I knew Eric and I were going to get along great. It was about 2 years into the relationship, and I was meeting Eric for the first time. Eric, Alicia, and I were walking home from dinner, and Eric turns to me and asks, "Do you fart in front of your boyfriend?" And I said, "Of course, since our first date." And Eric goes on to explain that Alicia has convinced him that ladies don't fart. That was the moment that I thought not only was Eric down to earth and genuine, but he was also funny. But in all seriousness, Eric, thank you for looking out for Alicia and reciprocating all the love that she has to give. But most of all, thank you for giving her comfort. My family wasn't known for staying on the same place for long, having to start from scratch with every move. We have never had a traditional sense of home, but we did have each other. Over the past 3 years, you and Alicia have nurtured a traditional sense of home. That's not right. Alicia have nurtured a beautiful relationship full of consideration, patience, and appreciation that will remain constant as everything changes around you. So as you two step into this new stage of life, with all of its curveballs, thank you for being my sister's home. So let's raise a glass to Alicia and Eric. I love you two very much. I wish you nothing but the best. And I'm so excited for your future, what is to come. Cheers.
For those of you who don't know us, I'm Ian Prager.
And I'm AJ Prager.
We're brothers who share half of Eric's DNA from our mother's side. From an early age, our family shared holidays, vacations, and parental shame when we inevitably misbehaved in public.
We'd like to begin by thanking our gracious hosts for the evening, Ellen and Rob Dry. I could not possibly imagine a lovelier service or venue. And on behalf of everyone, I'd like to congratulate the newlyweds, Alicia and Eric.
And we'd be remiss to not point out how stunning Alicia looks tonight. Alicia, I've never seen you look happier nor more fulfilled. Eric, I don't know how you did it, but you knocked it out of the park on this one.
Speaking of which, Ian, why do you think Alicia chose Eric? Why would a 10 settle for an 8.75?
That's a really good question, AJ. Let's explore some of the qualities that may have won over Alicia.
But Ian, he has so many attractive qualities. That would be an impossible task.
I know. Well, one character trait that I really admire in Eric is that he's such a patient and attentive listener. If you talk to him for more than 10 seconds about something that doesn't immediately capture his interest...
Are you talking about the lean back?
I am talking about Lehman. You know, when he's kind of doing one of these
When he
things?
gets really bored and goes, But we can't forget when he gets really bored and begins to space out.
You mean the arm sniff?
I'm talking about the arm sniff. Oh!
Yeah, that's a really attractive character trait. But if I'm being honest, I'm not sure Alicia would choose Eric just because of that.
That's a good point. Another thing we all know about Eric is his Michelin-rated taste buds, which, by the way, are more refined than yours. Your favorite fruit are peaches? Wrong! Cherries are the best fruit. End of story.
AJ, that's a really good point. There's no doubt that Eric appreciates the finer things in life. And he's not shy about telling it to you or sharing it with anybody else in the room. What's particularly interesting is that his sophistication ranges from the most delicate and complex cuisine like sushi to the most rudimentary and mundane foods like boar's head deli meat. He always knows the best of the best. Like that time I took him to Tony's Pizza, widely known in SF as the greatest pie on the West Coast. We ordered their signature dish, the Godmother. A thin crust pizza smothered with Italian tomatoes, basil, and the perfect proportion of fresh mozzarella. Tony himself delivered his gold medal winning pizza. And as Eric took his first bite, he looked at me and shrugged, "That pizza's good. It's no Frank Pepe's." I say, "Frank Pepe's? That sounds great. Let's go there." Eric says, "It's a great idea. I'll book flights to New Haven, Connecticut tomorrow."
There's no doubt that Eric's culinary tastes have upped Alicia's gastronomic sophistication. But I think we're being a little superficial here. Another quality that has always impressed me is his ability to focus and set his mind to achieving his goals.
Disciplined? Eric?
Well, yeah. Like, you know how Eric's entire day is structured around a singular event?
Oh, like the way he trades stocks online in the morning?
No. A singular morning event. How do I say this?
His morning constitutional?
Yeah. Like in high school when Eric, Uncle Lenny, and I took a ski trip to Whistler, which rudely interrupted Eric's daily routine.
Wait a second. They don't have computers in Canada?
Dude, you're just not getting this. Let's just say after several days of incomplete mornings, Eric achieved a new level of determination. He sought advice from the world's foremost masters of routine. The one and only Jedi, Fred Prager, who uttered but 4 words, prune juice and vindaloo. With a singular drive like I've never seen before, Eric went searching for an Indian restaurant. In the dead of a moonless northern Canadian winter, as we rounded a snowbank, Eric sighted a microscopic sign in the window of a 3rd-floor apartment building with the dimly lit words, Indian food. "Stop the car now!" Lenny slammed on the brakes.
So, AJ, what happened?
Well, we got Indian food.
And did it help?
No. But the chicken masala was Eric approved.
All right, so what happened next?
Well, we moved to plan B.
The prune juice.
Yep. That evening, after several failures to launch, Eric hobbled to the nearest supermarket. As we approached, the manager had just locked the doors and turned to walk away. Eric slammed on the glass doors with both fists. Please open the door! This is an emergency! I need prune juice!
So did they heed the call?
Yeah, he reopened the store.
Wow. Nice of him. And did it work?
No.
You know, that travel story makes me feel quite envious of Alicia.
Really? That's the story that makes you envious of Alicia?
Well, yeah. You know, Eric and I have been travel companions through the vast majority of our adult life. We've traveled through Central America and Asia on countless journeys. There are few people, I have to read this part, Eric. There are few people on this planet I enjoy spending time on the road with more than Eric. Among the most notable was our 2-week journey through Japan, capped by a 3-night Japanese ryokan vacation package in northern Honshu.
Ryokan? What's that?
Well, you uncultured Neanderthal. It's a traditional Japanese vacation centered around the many beautiful outdoor natural hot springs and spas, also known as onsen. Eric saved the best for last. A 5-star hotel with unlimited onsen access. All meals included. As the bellman led us up to our room, we were pleasantly surprised to find a bottle of champagne on ice. Free booze, Eric gleefully cheered. Thirsty Thursdays! Rose petals adorned a single queen-size bed, leading to 2 rows, one pink and one blue, folded into swan origamis, facing each other. They really thought of everything, I thought, but kind of a bummer that we have to share a bed.
I mean, at least you're eating sushi and not Mexican food.
It's a really good point. But the next morning, dragging ourselves out of our shared bed, we trudged to the breakfast room for our first meal. I looked to my right and saw a young couple, eyes locked, leaning towards each other, hand in hand. To my left, a young man was lovingly spoon-feeding yogurt to his newlywed's mouth. At that point, Eric got visibly and exceptionally uncomfortable, while I personally got kind of excited. Alicia, let me tell you, you are in for a wild night.
You know, maybe we're just approaching this the wrong way. Everything that we've talked about points to Eric's intense perfectionism, attention to detail, and perhaps his male cuddling ability.
You know, I think that's right, Age. If he agonizes over a pizza slice, a plate of vindaloo, and romantic getaways, just think about the amount of thought and preparation that went into the decision to marry Alicia.
It's actually really simple. It's Alicia and how perfect she is for Eric, and vice versa.
Eric, this is getting weird. Just white knuckle it for a second. You've been my travel companion, confidant, and best friend since childhood. You've made my life better every single day. And although I rarely mention it, I'm so incredibly grateful to have you in my life. And that's such a big part of it. I love you, dude.
And Eric, you've been a better, kinder, and nonviolent brother to me since birth. And the most consistent family presence to my daughters, Daniela and Emmy. You always make me laugh, and although I don't say it enough, I love you, dude. I'm excited to share this next chapter in our lives together.
Alicia, I speak for AJ and I and the entire family when I say that it's been such an incredible pleasure to get to know you over the past 4 years. Guys, can we focus here? I need Alicia, here, eyes here. Your warmth, optimism, and thoughtfulness has not only changed Eric's life, but all of ours as well. I hope you understand the fact that you're not just marrying into the Cohen family tonight, you're also marrying into the Prager family. And we, AJ and I consider you my second sister.
You know what? Before we do this, let me just bring this on over. This could be helpful for both of you. So with that, let's all raise a glass of prune juice in celebration of Eric and Alicia. Alicia, welcome to the family. L'chaim!